Hey, what's going on? Welcome back to another YouTube video. In this one, I'm interviewing one of our most successful top students, another $10,000 a month student, from about $2,000 a month to about $10,000 a month. This is Kele. His agency helps people on YouTube, like myself, grow their channels to create more sales for their consulting businesses. So he helps kind of with that back end management of the lead flow. He helps with the content output on a done for you level. It's a very interesting agency. And in this interview, you're gonna hear his story, how he was able to actually join the six-figure marketing consultant program, which is our course, and go from that $2,000 a month level to $10,000 a month in profit within only a couple months of joining. So if you yourself are one of those sort of $1,000 to $3,000 a month agency owners looking to scale and do it right, you can book a call where we'll see if you're a good fit for the program in the description. And there's no pressure to buy. Worst case scenario, you're not a good fit and we just say so. And it'll probably be the best 30 to 45 minutes you've spent on your business. Kele did exactly that, joined the program. He was a great fit, so I made him an offer. And he's been with us for about 4, maybe 5 months now. And within that 4 to 5 months, he's completely changed his business. So without further ado, I want to introduce my good friend, my student, and actually somebody who will sort of kind of be on my team, Kele. Welcome to the channel, Kele. What's up, dude?
I'm good. How about yourself, Trey?
Doing well, man. Doing good. Looking forward to this interview. We already kind of tried one earlier, right? And then we wanted to wait until you were officially at 10,000 because you got to 10,000. And then you had client issues. You're like, you know what? Let me wait until I'm at 10,000
Yeah.
solid. And so I really respect your integrity there. It's very cool.
Oh, thanks, man. Thanks,
Yeah.
man. Just happened.
Yeah. So yeah, but sort of welcome back. But the first recording didn't go up, so I guess welcome.
Yeah.
So yeah, dude. I guess on these interviews, as it's really just very just straight, normal conversation. I don't really have any sort of an agenda with Kele today. I don't really have any sort of an agenda myself. I just want to hear really and even learn from him. And hopefully you guys can learn from him as well. What's allowed him to scale to that $10,000 a month mark in the agency that he runs. So I think start with just share what the niche is and what the service is just briefly so we kind of understand what it is that you do.
Yeah, sure. So I basically help infopreneurs and consultants start and scale on YouTube through organic content as well as paid traffic as a done for you service. So this is not consulting. We have a done for you agency where we help people like Trey basically do everything from beginning to end to make sure that they can go and thrive on YouTube effortlessly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's a great service too. I've actually used you guys for a minute, so it's cool to actually have originally known Kele because I hired him, and then I threw him through the program, and then he got to $10,000, which is really cool. So it's an interesting story. It's not like most of the other students where they kind of find us through ads or YouTube or whatever. I actually found Kele through a mutual friend of ours, and he worked on my channel for me. He actually is going to handle this upload today. And I was like, you know what, man? I think I was his only client there for a second. I was like, you're doing such a good job. I'd love to see you scale. So I worked with him, threw him into the program, and I think we did a couple calls or something. I honestly don't even remember. But now we're here. So yeah, man. So what have been the key takeaways for you? And how do you well, first of all, how does it feel, man? $10,000. What's the feeling there associated with being at that mark monthly?
Uh, it's kind of like pulling both sides at the same time. On one end, it's like, wow, that's cool. But, since, as you mentioned earlier, it happened, I went up to 10K and then, some client issues came up and then I went a bit below and, I came back up, and now it doesn't feel as much as it did, now I'm just like, yeah, that's just it,
Yeah.
sure, if you earn €1,000, I make 10 times that amount in a month. But at the end of the day, it's not enough to just sit and do nothing for rest of your life, or just be safe or have enough money for your whole family. So it's not that much.
Yeah, that's totally where I'm at too. Even with our huge months, it's just it never feels like enough, and that's kind of the fun of it. It's just kind of just a constant pursuit And as long as you don't let it control you, as long as you tame that, it's a really cool thing. Because it's like, there's always more to grow. There's always more room to grow. Like, I look at even some of the top people in our industry, and these people who are making, doing like $500,000 months. I'm like, that's more money than anybody would need. But relatively, it's still not that much money. Like, it's everything's relative. Everything is relative. Everything. And so yeah, I think once you hit $10,000, and you can test for it, it's really not even. The dream of it. It's not that it's not as cool as you thought it would be. It is cool, but it's not this like. You're not so romantic about it anymore. It just feels like your business. Yeah.
Yeah. To be honest, like now, I keep seeing, the same Facebook posts or like ads about how you can start a business and make money. I'm like, yeah, all right, it doesn't even feel like much. I'm just like, okay, waste my time. Just you start identifying yourself differently, and you're just like, yeah, no.
Yeah, for sure. That's why in the program too, we talk about standards versus goals. So instead of it being like goals, you just have standards that you adopt, and how to raise your standards so that you're forced to make these things real. So like, what's interesting about you, Kele, is I think most people who were to run into the issues that you ran into in terms of client issues would just be like, it's okay, I'm cool with 5,000 or 6,000. Like, no, like you had to recover. You forced yourself to get back to 10. And I remember seeing your post into the group. You were like, boom, back to 10. It's like, it was like 10, like, all right, back to 10 again. It's like, that's such a cool thing. People don't realize, like, we don't always fight to achieve goals, but we'll fight like hell and gnash our teeth and claw to like maintain a standard. So I'm just proud of you, man. And I want to get in depth on, some of the tactics that you're using, some of the things that you've learned along the way, some of the mindset tricks that you're kind of implementing into your business. So I think I'll open the door up to you a little bit here and kind of direct it with some questions. But really, what's been your main takeaway? What's the main difference do you feel like? I know this is a super loaded question, but I want it to be because I just want to hear your thoughts. What's the main difference between where you were at when you first came on and where you are now? Like what shifted in your business, and what's really the main difference in your head and how you operate?
I felt like before, I was kind of like, yeah, I'm not sure how to go about getting clients. Like, frankly, when I'm thinking about it for a second, I'm like, before getting on, I was like, okay, how am I supposed to get clients? How am I supposed to, grow my revenue? And now I'm like, yeah, you know what? If I actually wanted to get more clients, I just do this right now. I want to focus on like client results because I've seen like the kind of results I got from getting client results, just like testimonials and recommendations and all this, But yeah, right now I just feel like, if I want to get to 20, 30, 40, I just need to put the gas on, or maybe, go through some ads as we're doing for our clients,
Yeah.
And I know I can scale, I've got like such huge, crazy certainty, that, I've had like multiple people reach out to me and be like, yeah, I can help you with client outreach and all that. And I was like, I got on call just because I'm curious, but, nothing much. It's not crazy. It's not, there's no secret, it's just like doing the work.
Right. There is no secret. There is no secret. That's why one of the things too, like you'll notice, I in our program, I pretty much only teach like one method of getting clients. And all the time people are like, give me more methods. I want more methods. I'm like, I don't think I'd actually be helping you guys by giving you more. And you can figure out more, but my goal is to give you one so that we can all get just stupid good at that one way of doing it.
Yeah.
Because you can't scale off of a messy pile of different methods. You just want one method. And I love what you said. You really do feel like if you lost a client right now, you'd be able to replace them, which is what you did. And you've proven to yourself that you can do that, which is a very powerful feeling. It's like if I lose a client, I can replace him. Now the goal is that you never lose clients. Obviously, we're not sitting here burning clients. But if you do burn a client or something does happen, you can replace them. And that's the power of committing to one method of attraction, which is what we talk about. And it's what we train on. So tell me a bit about your day-to-day, man. What does the day-to-day look like for you? Like, give us your routine. Like, wake up, work. How does it all work for you? Like, what is a day in the life of the man himself?
Yeah, well, that's an interesting question. It depends. So at the moment, the whole routine thing has been kind of thrown around.
Yeah.
Because as you may know, but I guess the audience doesn't know, I'm a fencer, doing fencing, and I'm currently in the process to qualify in the Olympic Games in
Mm,
2021.
mm,
So usually my routine involves like either training with a personal trainer in the morning or fencing in the afternoon. But right now, it's like July, so everybody's on holidays, and before that there was still coronavirus. But yeah, aside from that, if it just comes down to work and business, my ideal work day would be like, from like 6 to 1 p.m. at most. It's like client work and just making sure everything is like nailed down and we good on everything. Like from like 1 p.m. to rest of the day is like client acquisition or just doing whatever I want. That way, you know, if I'm going to have like client calls, it's not like mixed a bit like work client calls because I cannot focus. I can't do anything. So I would say like the closest thing I've got to a routine is morning for work and like afternoon for like client calls. That way, if I'm like I've got too much stuff to do, I can always go on the afternoon. Well, if it was like working during the afternoon, it's like I I don't really want to work during night. So
mm, mm. Why? Why is that? Now, I think I know why, but I want to hear it in your own words. Why not work in the afternoons? And we'll get into
yeah,
more tactical, technical with you guys.
yeah.
Too. I don't want to stick too long on this topic, but what's in your head there?
So I've got a girlfriend, but that's not even the main reason. Because when you live with someone, obviously, it's kind of complicated to work at 4 a.m. and just be like, just do the kind of things. I think you also did, when we were 16, 15, and like playing video games all night long. But overall, it's just like it's not that great of a thing to work during the night because my clients work during the day; they don't work during the night. And so if I'm sleeping while my clients are awake, it's kind of a problem. Sure, some clients will get like time difference, but overall, I want to just have like some kind of routine and like establish things because with the business and fencing, that's kind of two big moving pieces. And if there's not some kind of schedule, it can be um, destructive quite fast, either on the business side or physically for me.
Yeah. Hmm. Interesting. Very interesting. So tell me then. So how do you go about like setting? So I guess I'm trying to figure out a way to phrase this. What's the next step for you? You're at 10,000. Like what's in the pipeline for you? What's the next step? What do you feel like the next step should be? Are you going to stay here for a minute while you figure it out? Do you know? You're pretty
Uh,
flexible right now. I mean, we're both young guys. I mean, $10,000 a month is plenty. Like, there's no pressure. I don't feel like on you.
yeah.
So what's the plan, man?
The plan is first and foremost, we get more client results because more client results amounts to more testimonials, and testimonials is like the bare bone of like marketing and advertising. Like when you get results, everybody wants to be with you. One thing I like to think about, and I know you like that guy, is like Jordan Peterson. He's got like uh, is the dominance hierarchy.
Yep.
And the thing is like, so basically for the people that don't know about like the dominance hierarchy, basically it's like some kind of like theory, whereas is like you've got like multiple levels of people, and depending on like uh, how many no's you're going to answer to, do I have people caring about me, do I have someone important to me, do I have any hobbies and all this, the more no's you have when you answer these questions, the less important you are like socially. And the thing is, when you have like testimonials, it's just like showing that you've got like proof of concept that you're delivering good work and that some other people are endorsing you, and that just like puts you higher in this like dominance or hierarchy, and that just makes it way easier to sell
Yeah.
and get more clients because
It
people
does.
care about the results.
It's very true. It's very true. Yeah. So really, your goal right now is just to get more results,
Um,
bring more people results so you can market that.
Yeah, I mean, it's both at the same time, right? The thing is, one of my fear on in a way, it's like I don't want to like kind of overextend myself right away and push like to 15, 20, and then get just stuck in delivery mode for clients. So well, I know it's not like the kind of thing that I should be so focused on or anything, and I should like keep pushing on outreach while also like delivering results for clients, because I already got like great results. Yeah, I just don't want to rush things. I guess I'm not like in a rush. I'm not in a position where I'm like, wow, I need to make like 20K month, 40K month next month, even though I know I can do it this month, if I just put my mind to it. Like seriously, like
Yeah,
like
I understand the feeling. It really is like, it's almost like you're trying to just measure opportunity cost. Like for me, like honestly, I could push to 100,000, 150,000, like whenever. It's just that I just want it to be timed right, and I don't want to have to worry about anything breaking in that process.
yeah,
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 and I don't want to have to worry about, all the crazy messes I might create along the way, which may be a false belief. Maybe I have to just be willing to
true,
make that mess. Maybe that's something that is holding me back.
true.
But yeah, very cool, dude. So for you then, what's been one of the key mindset shifts? So I've kind of heard like a business shift. And maybe I already asked a version of this question, but I kind of want to hear like, and you're talking so much about, standards and mindset. So let's just dig into that. Like what are the core beliefs that you have regarding your mentality and your mindset that have allowed you to move? Because, most people stay stuck at that $1,000 to $2,000 a month mark forever. Like what did you believe then that you no longer believe now?
Yeah. So that might kind of sound condescending or anything or something, but like I've always felt like pretty much I'm the best. Like I mean, I'm an athlete, right? So when you get into that competitive environment, you just get into I mean, at least for me, I got into the habit of just like having some kind of unwavering faith in myself, because
Yeah.
like pretty much I think sport is harder than business,
Yeah.
because uh, I mean, if you just take the like 10,000 euro per month compared to what number one people in the world make, is like, I mean, Warren Buffett, or I don't even know who's first at the
Yeah.
moment. It's like
Yeah.
teeny, but like getting number one in sports, like right now, maybe in world ranking fencing, I'm 120 or something, but
Mhm.
it just way harder because you need to constantly perform at the same high level of performance, which makes
Yeah.
it way more complicated. Um, so when I saw like, I would say in a way things like things line up, and I started like getting in your program. I just was like, hey, look, I know my value. I'm great. I'm great. I'm amazing. I can do great things.
Yeah.
So there's no reason to like hold back or anything. Uh, I believe in my
And I
worth.
think a big distinction to make too is the difference between like arrogance and confidence. You know, like confidence says I know what I'm capable of because of proof. Arrogance is a fake confidence. Arrogance is ignoring the fact that you're bad and caking on top of it, ego, and like, making yourself look like something you're not. That's arrogance. Confidence and arrogance are very different. And so I think you have confidence because you've seen what you can do, which is a big thing for somebody at the beginning. And I think at some point you probably had to be like, you know what? I'm going to fake that confidence and just see where it takes me. And then you started to see the results and you're like, wait, I do deserve to be that confident.
Mhm. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't. That's interesting because I feel like I'm a super interesting mix, because I
Yeah.
think that to some extent I'm super arrogant.
Yeah.
Yeah, like sometimes I'm going to, like, I feel like I've got some trouble, on like emotional intelligence sometimes. you know like I'm going to see stuff and I'm going to think it's pathetic, and like it just comes naturally.
Mm-hmm.
um or the stuff like with IQ, some people say it's not relevant. Well, looking at how people behave, sometimes I'll tend to think it is to some extent. But
Yeah.
it just like kind of things that got me to think, wow, you're really great, man. You're obviously above average, so the results are going to come eventually. But then I got into the kind of Gary Vee stuff, humility and all that, and that kind of toned me down a bit. With sport as well, sport teach you that you should stay humble,
Yeah.
but
Right.
it's I've got some kind of an interesting balance, I believe.
Yeah. All right. Well, so tell me then, what's your next steps in terms of like, are you building it? Are you planning on building a team, or are you just gonna like try and stay a sole proprietor and expand your deliverabilities, or what's? Tell me more about, because I know next step in general. You're saying just keep getting results for these clients and let that grow the business, which is super wise, by the way. But in terms of what you think it would take to scale to, let's say, $40,000 or $50,000 a month, what do you feel like you're missing right now that you feel like would allow you to do that?
Interesting, good question. Scaling to 40 to 50, because 20 is not like, there's not much difference between 10 and 20.
Not really. It's a pretty easy jump because you can make it right now by just being willing to do more client work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
40, what would it require? For sure, like team, when it comes to for example, Facebook ads agency and SMM in general, I believe you've got some people, able to pull it off on their own up until that point, with like quite high ticket stuff or even a limited team. But on my end, we got like a service delivery that can be quite time consuming, especially on the YouTube organic content, because we handle everything from like, helping clients, just know what kind of content to shoot, to like putting the content online and just like optimize everything SEO wise. So that can be quite time intensive. And the thing is, if I don't build out a team properly and, just like train them on what to do, so that we have like a constant to the max service delivery, everything's going to break. So, just like setting up the proper team, and then, just like client acquisition. Client acquisition isn't like crazy, to be honest.
Yeah, right. And you're kind of getting to a point now where you're beginning to have the revenue where you guys could play with paid too.
Yeah. The thing is, we're doing like YouTube ads for some clients. So,
Yeah.
I know what it entails, like what it requires to get, result for YouTube ads. So I'm quite confident that, if I just played around with like 1,000 to 2,000, we could just like probably generate like some sales calls for our agency.
I have no doubt. Yeah, especially if you just Zapiered all the leads you get into like a spreadsheet and just got a sales guy to follow up with them, like you guys be freaking easy.
Yeah, I would do it myself.
It's a great service. You got a super marketable service too. Nice thing about it.
Yeah, that's what I've been observing, because I was on a call with a friend of mine from the Philippines today, and his mom, I believe, is doing some kind of financial service, helping people manage their wealth or something like this,
Right.
But it's really a good buddy of mine, and I was just telling him, hey, I'm doing this at the moment, getting great results. You got the testimonial of Trey on my Facebook, and it's like, oh yeah, great. I'm going to send that to my mom. I think she might really need that kind of service. She's been trying to do this for a while. And what I'm saying is, so many people on the YouTube kind of side of things are trying to sell coaching courses, but no one wants to take the responsibility for getting results for clients.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to be that person. So.
Yeah, it's cool, man. It's cool. Well, sweet, dude. I mean, I almost feel like I'm almost running out of like specific questions, so I'm gonna just get super broad with you and just say, in a nutshell, how can you, like, what's the biggest lesson that you've taken? And just make it one simple thing that people can understand here. What's the biggest thing that pushed you from that $1,000 to $2,000 a month mark to $10,000 now? And sort of as an additive to that question, so you've got what pushed you to that point. Another question is, what's been the hardest thing in that process? What's the most frustrating, the most annoying, the most defeating thing you've experienced?
So the most important thing and the most defeating, right?
Yeah.
All right. So most important thing, that's one thing I've been like hammering on during the first call we had it, but it's just like scarcity. Like if you run a business, you need to
I'm
get,
sorry, you said scarcity?
yeah, scarcity,
Adopting
the
an
French
abundance
accent.
mindset. Yeah.
I mean, it's not even so much about the abundance mindset, because I see like scarcity mindset and like abundance mindset as really two separate things. You know, the thing is, you can try and have abundance mindset, you know, but when your bank account tell you €0, you cannot fake it. You know, you can and try and be like, yo, that's cool, you know, but actually, you know, you can't.
Yeah.
You know, like your brain reminds you, hey, you need this client right now, otherwise you won't be able to pay for next month. And so that's like the most important thing, you know, like I used to live in another country, moved to another one where costs are lower and all this, so that, you know, each and every month I don't feel like, yo, I need to get like, you know, 50% of my revenue just to pay my expenses. That's crazy, you know, like you cannot have peace of mind when running your business like that. So, you know, I just got to a point where I had like 6 months to a year, or like even more, of like savings, so I could just like be at peace with running my business. So that's like most important. And most like the hardest thing, let me think, hardest thing about like getting here, I don't know, to be honest. It's I don't think it's hard, you know, in retrospective.
Yeah.
I've been lucky, you know, to just like meet the right people, but I also like did the work to connect myself with some good people, you know, that got me here. You know, so hardest thing, you know, was probably back in December. I actually had to stop going to training for like 2 months, and that's something that actually nobody knows. You know, I just stopped going to training, didn't say anything to anybody, but I stopped going to training because the trip both ways was like €15 in Denmark, and I just couldn't pay it. So I was like, yeah, you know what? Let me just stop fencing for now. I stopped from like December to like until like early February, and that was like kind of the hardest thing, because I was like, yo, bro, I'm so broke. I cannot do anything for anybody.
Wow. It's got to be
I
a
cannot.
crazy feeling going from that, not being able to pay for your train ride to your fencing lessons, to now, you know, that's wild. I didn't know that about you, man. That's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, it was kind of, you know, tough, but well, what ended up happening as well is, you know, as an athlete, I've been doing fencing for like since I'm 6, so I'm 24, so that's like uh, 18 years of
18 years?
fencing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the prime with that I see in myself, and probably in a lot of athletes, I would assume, is that I identified myself a lot by fencing. You know, like being a fencer and like practicing and like training was like kind of my identity. You know, university didn't care much. Or just like social stuff, I didn't care much. You know, my identity was fencing, and you know, stopping for like these 2 months and focusing really on my business and like finding ways to, you know, grow this thing. Uh, that just like allowed me to have like, you know, to actually dissociate and be like, hey, look, you know, fencing is cool, you know, but I'm not an athlete. You know, if I qualify to the Olympic Games, great. You know, I need to put the work to get there and all this. That's great. But at the end of the day, there's like plenty of athletes in France that have like gold medals in judo. For example, there was that girl, gold medal in judo. The girl is like having a job, and great, you know, nothing against having a job. You know, that wouldn't be me. But how can you struggle when supposedly you're like, you know, at the highest level of performance in sport in your country, you know? And when you kind of see and realize these things, you know, I realized that, hey, look, fencing's cool, but at the end of the day, I cannot ruin myself just to be like, yeah, you know, I've been to the Olympics and all that. No, it doesn't make sense, you know? So it's just like some kind of a goal, but I'll probably stop, you know, after the Olympics, because, you know, there's other stuff to life to do.
Yeah. That's cool, man. I almost feel like a part of what's allowed you to succeed is that you've kept these goals off of a pedestal. You just put it in its place. You're just like, yeah, this is, I have to do it. Like, I'm just going to do it. And I think that's really cool. And that's very similar to what I'm doing with my business right now, where I'm not emotionally attached to these big goals that I have. I'm just going to do it. And like, you know, I'm more emotionally attached in like to the prospect of potentially marrying my girlfriend right now, like the family things that I have, the fitness, like the other thing, like honestly, my business doesn't take up when I'm not working. My business doesn't take up all my time, you know. And
Mm.
when you keep it in its place, it almost you get it to submit almost to like to listening to what you need it to do. When you give it all of your time and you give it all of your emotional and mental energy, it almost controls you a little bit. And that's not a good place to be. And I think that's one of your advantages is that you have fencing, which is this big other goal. And I would encourage most entrepreneurs to have something like that. Right now I'm training for a marathon. I don't know if I told you this, Keith. I'm going to train for a marathon. And so it's a totally separate goal from business, but it's something that I'm emotionally attached to that I'm almost not more excited about, but I'm really excited about. And I'm almost just as excited to, have a 6 mile run at like an 8 minute pace as I am to like, close a $10,000 deal. It's like you just have, you put these things into perspective in your life. So I think that's one of the things that has really helped you in my eyes, Keely, just having a perspective on helping so many students at this point. It is a common theme that the students who do well, many of them, not all of them, but many of them have other things in their life that are a priority to them so
Mm.
that they can keep business in its place. It's very interesting. Very
Yeah,
interesting. Yeah.
like if I can add something, like first of all, like if you don't keep your business in place, that's when you start working from like 8 a.m. to like 4 a.m. in the morning, and you work
Yeah.
all day and you actually don't do anything because you just don't have anything to do. So
Yeah.
no rush,
Right.
you can just do everything last minute. And when it comes to the emotional attachment to things, for anybody that's ever done like sport competitively, and sorry for you guys, I don't mean like departmental level, of like city level. It doesn't matter, like
Right. Like actual competitive sports.
yeah, like seriously practicing and all this. One thing you quickly get used to is most of the time you're going to lose. Like
Yeah.
unless you're like, a genius, most of the time you're going to lose.
Yeah.
And you need to get used to it because if you don't, you're going to cry every day of your life. So,
That's
you
true.
just learn to
That's true.
dissociate yourself from like the results,
Yeah.
um, like how much money I'm making is not who I am, and my fencing results are not who I am. So
Yeah. I love that, dude. I love that. That's a huge advantage. It's a huge advantage when you are able to look at your business as a separate entity and as a separate set of systems than to yourself.
yeah,
And your only job is to maintain those systems. It's not like, I definitely believe that your business is a reflection of you, but you can't let it control, and you shouldn't build it in such a way that it controls your state entirely. It shouldn't. It really
yeah,
shouldn't. That's one thing I'm working on right now, actually. Like, tax season is coming up, and then I've got a lot of, I'm building out a team, which is a lot of revenue, and I'm having to detach from like all of these presupposed metrics that I feel like I'm supposed to look at in my business, like today's revenue, or this week's revenue, or this month's profits. Like I'm looking at the long, 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 long term here, you
it's
know,
hard.
and it's really hard. It's really hard. But yeah, like, I literally, we had an $80,000 month and then I had to slash it in half because it was too much business, you know?
Yeah,
Like that's a
yeah,
weird place to be. It's a weird place to be. I don't know any internet marketers, dude, not to pat myself on the back too much, but that would even say that they had to do that, you know? So I'm very proud that I'm able to like publicly share that. But also, yeah, just full transparency. It can be very debilitating if you're too attached to it. Like to see an $80,000 month and into the next month see only like 40 or 45, it can suck. It's a pretty crappy feeling if you let it be. But I know that I intentionally did that. It's interesting. Like even when you intentionally, like this month I'm taking a week off. My goal is that I still make good money that week. And I'm fully expecting me to make no money. I have no attachment. But I also know that if I make no money, my brain is going to do this. I know what my brain does. It's going to start to think of an entirely new life plan. It's going to like want me to let go of everything I'm doing. And literally, like my girlfriend at one point, I was going to her because we were having like a really crappy like 3-day period, and I was like, Dave, this is awful. This is horrible. Like And as my personality type, I really attached myself to my business. This was like 4 months ago, and I've really worked on this, and I think it's given me a huge advantage. But literally verbatim, I told her, you know what, I could quit all of this and then just like move to like a really cheap place and then just like hike. I really like hiking. It's just like, you don't want to do that. You're just stressed out and you're confused. It's so funny that my brain literally came up with this whole other life plan just because 3 days went poorly. And that's how your brain works, dude. If you let it, if you're not in charge of how you respond, you know, the no that you got from your client, the refund you had to give, or the failures that you have in fencing or in business or these things, it's just so hard to move. It's so hard to stay sane because
Yeah.
it really does challenge you.
Plus, you know, one thing that I see as a man is just like, you know, we're not used to be like, you know, expressing emotions, not emotions, you know, but like failures, you know, and how you're feeling really deep inside, you know, like feeling like, you know, if you're feeling like crap and you know, you feel like, yeah, you know, I'm just going to go live in a super cheap place and raise goats, you know, you're not
Yeah,
going
right.
to call you're not
Yeah.
going to call up your business friends and tell them, hey, you know, man, I feel like crying, I just want to go raise goats. No, you know, like
Yeah.
we don't do that. And you know, at some points it's kind of hard because, you know, if you don't share that with anybody, you know, it just like kind of builds up in itself.
Yeah.
And you know,
That's a good thing too. And I think one of our advantages both is that we've got really great women in our life. You've got an awesome girlfriend. I've got a great girlfriend. It's really important. Like it's, you know, I don't think you should focus on it when you're first starting, to be honest with you. Don't worry about dating too much. Get some momentum. But yeah, build it in because it's like a biological need, dude. Especially as men, like we need to have companionship. So that's why I'm excited too to potentially get married and all that stuff. I think it's gonna be a huge advantage. It's gonna be a huge advantage. My buddy Quasi, he's doing like $150,000 a month right now with one product. It's insane. And he's like, yeah, the best decision I ever made was marrying a girl that doesn't tolerate my bull crap. Like, it's awesome. That's super cool. I love that. But yeah, dude. I mean, let's wrap it up. Are there any main takeaways that you feel like we should share here? Because it feels to me like a few big ones are, um, you know, have other things in your life that you're passionate about. You know, keep business at bay in terms of emotions and make sure that you maintain it. Keep yourself from getting too obsessed, which sounds counterproductive. It's almost like you need to find the right amount of obsessed, or you need to be obsessed when you choose to be, if that makes sense.
mm,
Be obsessed when you choose to be, and then be able to consciously choose to turn off and do something else. Um, Sounds to me like another one is have a marketable offer. Your offer is very marketable. Sounds to me like another one is, you know, like be willing to be told no. Sounds very simple. Sounds, and also sounds very like hustle culture, very like grind it out or whatever. But it's just true. What are some other key points that you feel like we've hit, man?
uh, oh yeah, one thing that I've seen like a lot of people do is just like, you know, try to get advices from like 10 different places. And even
Mm.
inside of the community, you know, I've seen that happen where people are like, yeah, I've been seeing this in my other like program or whatever. Like at some point, cool, you know, you can be in like 10,000 programs, but just like for the same reasons, you don't give like 20 different like outreach method and you just give one, you know. I feel like, you know, just focusing on one way of making things work is like the best way to get any results. Because at the end of the day, if you're just like every week trying a new program, trying, you know, you go for like, let's go SMMA, and then you go affiliate marketing, and then you go dropship, and then you go Amazon FBA, and then you go like door-to-door salesman selling, I don't know, Tupperware. You know, like at some point, you just need to focus on something, just cut all of the noises because you have like so many different ways of doing things and pretty much they all work, you know. But when you have like, for example, for you guys watching the videos, if you listen to Trey and then right after you go listen to someone else that's going to tell you, no, you shouldn't do it like this, you should do it like that. In your brain, it's conflicting. And how do you want to go forward when you're like, yeah, I'm not sure because this guy was saying this guy, no, you should just go all in belief, you know, and you you go hard, you know. And if you're wrong, fine, you know, you're just going to figure out in 1 month or 2 months. Pretty much, I can tell you, you know, if you follow Trey, you're not going to be wrong. regardless of like, going for, into the program or not, is organic content is just bomb. But yeah, just focus on one thing. Don't go like 20 routes and like one thing simple. And then, when you get to a point when you got like, the means to go more complicated and get a team, then go complicated if you want, but keep it simple.
Great advice. Yeah, just keep it very simple. Just listen to like one person, two people max. Yeah, I listened to like one person for a very long time, just applied everything. And then once I applied it, moved on and saw if I could find another person that fit. And at this point, it's interesting at my business now, I'm less listening to one person and I'm more reading between the lines of what everybody's saying.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, all right, this guy says this, but then this guy says this.
Yeah.
Why would they say that? What's the common theme I'm seeing of all of it? And the common theme that I'm seeing of all of it, ultimately, in my opinion, is master paid ads, build a service that can scale like mad, build a brand, get your reputation right, and have a team that is just as passionate about the business as you are. And it's really hard to lose at that point. That's $1 million a year makeup right there, So like that's what I see everybody saying that. Those are the 4 things that I'm seeing everybody saying at a high level, and like that's what I'm reading right now. And then my next step is just like building scaled sales systems for everything, like the education side, the agency side, detaching myself from those sales systems, which is why I'm bringing on the sales guys, which I'm bringing on and start playing with paid and all these things. So great interview, man. Thanks for coming on the channel, dude.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Trey. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, for sure. If you guys enjoyed the video, leave a like, leave a comment, anything like that. I'll probably record a separate outro or separate intro, I don't know. But hopefully you enjoyed this interview.